There's a new Spider-Man in the family, and this one is an X-Man. The X-Men are scattered to the wind with the entire world against them. While some are building a resistance, others are just looking for a way to be a hero to the remaining mutants. This is Nightcrawler's plan. Today's episode is sponsored by Henson Shaving. Are you tired of subscription razors or getting nicks and cuts from cheap razors? Well, that's why you gotta meet Henson Shaving. Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that is bringing their precision engineering to your shaving experience. Henson Shaving makes affordable razors with standard dual-edge blades to give you that old-school shave, but with the benefits of new-school tech. Once you own a Henson razor, it's only about $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. Henson razors have a great design with incredible durability, and they give you a super nice clean shave. It's time to say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/complete-story to pick the razor for you and use the code complete-story and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/complete-story and use the code complete-story. The motorcycle screeches down the street as the goon in the sidecar opens fire with his tech rifle. Die, bug! Die, die, die! The shooter bellows. The driver makes a hard turn, steering the motorcycle into Central Park. To hell with this! He shouts, his buddy turning in his seat, questioning why he would even drive into the park. This is not an appropriate getaway route, the guy says, and the driver points out that all the spider people rely on buildings in the city to swing and chase them. You gotta get clear of the towers! They got nothing! The driver says as he steers the bike through the park, and they both look behind them, proud that they lost the spider person. Until, BAMF! Nightcrawler appears in front of them, now clad in black in a red spider suit. He grabs the shooter and teleports him out of the bike with another BAMF! Before teleporting again and sending the bike spinning out of control. The driver tries to struggle to his feet. He looks up to see a new Spidey hanging by his tail from a tree, and he points at the bike, which has become lodged in the branches. Pardon me, English is not my first language, and I'm still working on my catchy one-liners in crime-fighting context, but I'm thinking that this would be a very funny moment to say. You need to practice your parking, pal, Kurt says, and pauses for a moment. Because, you see, we are in a park. Also, your bike is in a tree. One word, multiple meanings. Kurt explains his joke. The thug yells in fear, firing his weapon, but Kurt teleports around the blast with more BAMFs, using his astral blade to cut through the weapon. He finally knocks the thug out and goes to check on the stolen organ case that they had taken. Still frozen, thank goodness, Kurt says as he gently puts the case back down and turns and looks out over the park, nodding his head at a job well done. Busy, busy, doing good, he whispers to himself, and he turns as he is approached by a group of park dwellers. They come forward asking for his autograph, which Kurt is happy to give. Another woman comes out of the trees, mumbling to herself. Where's my baby? She gasps, and Kurt turns to help her, but the group is suddenly interrupted as a sentinel leans down from the trees, scanning the area. Kurt tries to move and get the park dwellers to run, but they just shout at the sentinel, explaining that they are only humans here. As Kurt prepares to fight, something whispers in his ear. Relax, we got this. The sentinel suddenly straightens up. Scan complete. No mutants detected. You may return to your business. Warm regards from your friends at Orcus, the sentinel says before rocketing up into the sky. Kurt watches in surprise as the sentinel leaves. When he turns back to the park dwellers, he finds that the strange woman has also left. She's crazy, obsessed with that damn treehouse. We think that maybe she's a secret mutie lover, the dwellers tell her. Kurt thanks the park dwellers for their time and he disappears in a BAMF cloud. But later he sits on one of the buildings in the park with Spider-Man, recounting his adventures and his one-liners while enjoying some pizza. After a few moments, Spidey awkwardly switches the topic over to the mutants. I have to ask, what's the plan, Kurt? Long term? Are you going to be Spider-Man for a while? Spidey asks. He was more than happy to give Kurt one of his old costumes so that his friend could work in the shadows to help mutants and clear his name. Memories of his demonic attack against humanity flash through Kurt's mind, and he closes his eyes. It wasn't me, Spider-Man, or at least, I wasn't me. Kurt says softly, and Spidey nods as he sits next to his friend. You don't need to prove you're a good person, Kurt. If you need help with the big picture stuff, I got your back, Spidey tells him, and Kurt nods. But he can still hear the voice in his head. It teleports around him in a cloud of white, talking about how it shouldn't be on Kurt's shoulders to fight for his entire race. Tell him it's tough to carry the weight of a whole species when it's exhausting just being a good person, the invisible gremlin whispers with a smile. Spidey waves his hand, trying to get Kurt's attention, pointing out that he kind of phased out. Kurt finally thanks Spidey for all that he's done. I thank you for your faith and the old suit, but I assure you I'm doing precisely what I need to be doing, helping people, one at a time, Kurt says as he looks over the city. Meanwhile, at Orcus's headquarters, one of the scientists goes to Adrian Toomes, the Vulture, explaining that there's a new Spider-Man and that the new Spider-Man is almost certainly the mutant known as Nightcrawler. Humph! The Sentinel didn't pursue. Why? Toomes questions. The lab assistant explains that since the Sentinels couldn't detect human DNA, they weren't programmed to hunt a single person. Toomes nods, looking at the digital display of Kurt Wagner. If the little maggot can beat the tech, only a matter of time before the rest of them can too. We need to know what he's doing and how he's doing it, Toomes says, pondering the issue. He finally then just nods his head. Let's do a little outsourcing, shall we? The night fades into the morning, and we have Kurt sitting in a tree in Central Park. He's enjoying his breakfast of cold pizza when he is alerted to a woman being robbed. He teleports quickly, bamfing behind the mugger and kicking him hard in the face. The guy gets to his feet, swinging his knives, trying to stab the teleporting hero. But Kurt teleports behind him and uppercuts him. He knocks the goon to the ground. The blonde jogger cheers for her savior. Rushing forward, she hugs him. She then pulls him very close, and she asks him so many questions about being a spider person and if he is from the demon dimension. Listen, I'd better be getting back to the demon dimension, Kurt says, but when he looks down at the thug, the man's face shifts, and Mystique is suddenly lying there. Where's my baby? She gasps as she struggles to her feet. Kurt looks down at her with shock before picking her up and bamfing away. Meanwhile, far over the city, a private plane is approaching. The mercs on board are preparing their gear for landing. They've been hired by Adrian Toomes to track down a special mutant in the city. Outside of the plane, their leader is riding her own glider on the approach. She is Silver Sable. But the story of our new Spider-Man and what is going on in the Fall of X is going to have to continue. So as usual, to be continued. Don't forget to check out our other channels, our podcast channel, absolutely, our manga channel, Comicstorian, and if you're in the mood for some hot sauce, check that out down below. Thank you, and see you next time.